So there's definitely a few things that I should probably mention before I actually get into the primary topic of this video. First things first, this is not exactly scripted. I've tried for like the past day or so to script all of this, but it just never seemed to come across in the way that I wanted it to actually hit, if that makes any kind of sense. And second of all, this is going to be a second prelude to the upcoming Zerkalo video that I'm now going to have to rewrite because of this new information. So that's definitely going to be extremely fun. Obviously, you can already tell just simply by the tone of my voice that this is definitely something that honestly just disappoints me to an immeasurable degree, to the point where there's probably not going to be that many jokes, if any, in this, I guess, rant, if you will, because honestly, this is just horrible. And the fact that this individual has gained so much trust within the community that he had put himself in, the fact that he had so many different connections, the fact that he had the respect of not only a bunch of, the fact that he had the respect of not only his friends who were working alongside with him and had defended him multiple times, but had also gained the respect of those that had also watched him and were probably introduced to that said community just simply through his content. You know, people like me who are just, who are just, I guess, fans more than anything, that are now just disappointed that the person that we had put a decent amount of trust into when it came to, delivering the facts in a coherent and scripted way, ultimately was the very thing that he had sworn he was destroying. So, who exactly am I talking about? I'm talking about Coyote Lovely. Now, one thing I will in fact admit is when the initial thread on Kiwi Farms was released, and before more information was released, and before the stream ended up happening a couple days ago, I was recording this audio, I was fairly skeptical of, the claims themselves. I wasn't entirely sure about them. There could have been a number of different reasons behind them, but looking back now, I probably should have at least noticed how sketchy they actually were. And especially when more and more information came out, and then Coyote dipping from the stream like a few hours before the stream was meant to go live is just, it honestly, that was kind of like the tipping point where I was just like, okay, this does not look good. Coyote must have definitely fucked up somewhere. And then I watched the stream. I had to watch the VOD. Uh, and in case you're wondering what the stream is, I'll obviously put it in the description. I'll also put another video that relates to this in the description, both of which are fairly long, so I don't expect you to watch them immediately after watching this video. But mainly this video is just to explain what's been revealed, as well as just giving my own thoughts about it, just simply from the perspective of someone that wasn't necessarily a friend of his or someone that worked with him, but as just, someone that had put a decent amount of trust into him, considering what he has, been doing within the community that he is a part of. So, essentially, Coyote Lovely, most famously known for dealing with individuals such as Cord Kitty, Zarkalo, and Hypnotist Sappho, was very recently exposed for apparently having been working alongside with them, and on top of that too, he had fallen short on a promise to someone else by the name of Furskadoodle, who had apparently encountered an abuser of theirs on some sort of other platform or something along those lines, and he said that he would file a report against that guy and try to see if he could get him locked up. And then Coyote didn't do jack shit afterwards, and he decided to fuck off. His explanation of it was, well, I mean, Furskadoodle apparently had, other people to help them, so obviously, he probably wasn't even needed, so he just kind of fucked off to do whatever else, which is, that's just a shitty way of looking at it. If you're trying to deal with other things, if you want to try and help other individuals, I think it would probably be for the best that you try to carry through on a promise rather than just go for some, other thing. Even if that other thing is a lot more high profile than what you had promised to deal with, you should still deal with it as you had promised. And within the stream itself, he basically just went off on the person that he made this promise to and told them to go and off themselves because they were pissed off at him for falling short on that. But to go back to the whole him still working alongside with Hypnotist Sappho and Zarkalo, he had apparently been within an anonymous zoophile chat on Telegram, which, lo and behold, was run by Zarkalo of all people. So that's very telling right there. And on top of that, too, he was apparently trying to flirt with Sappho despite Coyote himself already having a partner, which, again, very weird. His explanation of it doesn't even make sense. Apparently he did it for some sort of like overly elaborate op to get more information, which makes absolutely no sense. But yeah. But essentially within the stream, when he appeared like halfway through, it was like the most mask off that we could have ever seen Coyote. It basically just ultimately proved that he didn't actually give a shit about what he was trying to deal with. He didn't give a fuck about the victims at all. He just cared about how high profile it was to deal with individuals, and it didn't matter what he was doing whatsoever and whether or not it would affect the kinds of people that he had made connections and made friends with whatsoever. And because of this overall fallout, because Coyote was, tied to some other group known as the Senate, now Kaz's group is extremely skeptical of the Senate, considering the fact that Coyote did all of this shit behind the scenes, and the Senate, even though they didn't know anything about this until recently, it still doesn't exactly reflect that well on them, considering Coyote's ties to them. It is overall just an extremely disappointing thing to find out about, that someone that had provided so much information in a short, condensed kind of video, delivered this information and kind of spread the word to other people to not associate with such disgusting individuals, ultimately was already working alongside with them behind the scenes and not telling anybody, and his only excuse was it was for some sort of an op or whatever the hell else. And when he was confronted with someone that he had made a promise to help them out, he just decided to go off the handle, and he only apologized after, someone else ended up coming in and told him off for how he was acting, but by then it was already too late. And now, after the stream ended, Coyote Lovely's Twitter account is completely gone, and he hasn't done anything with his YouTube channel, at least as far as I know of, as of recording this. I've heard that he apparently deleted it. Last time I checked, his channel was still up, so maybe it was just a weird error on YouTube's side. Maybe it's some other account by the same name and has the same profile picture and the same content. I mean, I have no idea. But to give a perspective from someone that, isn't like a friend or someone that worked alongside with him, trust me, I understand the rage and immense, disappointment that they definitely have. And I myself am not exactly trying to look for any sympathy despite my original opinions on this. I just wanted to give my own perspective and also give an explanation as to why there's yet another delay to a video that I've been trying to make for a while. Because now I have to rewrite everything, but that's obviously not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is just the fact that someone like this, someone that was essentially a gateway into me even finding out that there was an entire community surrounding something like this, dealing with these sick individuals, finding out that they themselves were the very thing that they had called out, it really hits hard. It sucks. And at the end of the day, it's really just telling, considering the fact that now Coyote has essentially just dipped from some of his major platforms, and apparently his Discord server is going to be shut down by the end of this week. So there's also that. But honestly, it kind of sucks hearing about this. And for all the people that have been affected by him negatively, uh, I can only imagine just how they feel about this. I mean, I probably don't, considering that, I mean, there's already videos of how they already feel about it. There's a live stream as well as a video about it. And trust me, they're not very happy, and I can understand that. But for someone that is just a normal fan, for someone that was just, an observer more than anything and thought that he was a reliable source of information to find out about this, it it definitely it definitely hits very hard, and it kind of sucks to even say any of this. And it also it's just horrible. It's really horrible. I'm honestly hoping that for all the people that have been affected by him, that they ultimately get the closure that they really need. I hope that they finally make amends over all this kind of stuff. And for Coyote, don't fucking come back. Listen, if you are still even trying to plan on making some sort of like flaccid response to all this kind of shit, just don't. Just stay away. Apparently, there was something about him stating that he was just going to take a break for about half a year and then like come back and change up his content. Honestly, I think he should just stay away from the internet entirely. He should just stay away from making content entirely. Because now that his name has just been overall tarnished by all this, who the fuck is going to care about what he's going to be doing in the future? People are just going to look at him as someone that had ultimately backstabbed not just his friends, not just the people that he had made bonds with, not just, like, apparently his partners, supposedly, but also to an entire crowd of people that saw him as a reliable individual. It's definitely a lot. So, Coyote, just don't come back. Just fuck right off. Because honestly, at this point, I don't see any recovery from this. I'll see you guys in the next video.